people should have a lot of friends and use them sort of like, almost like I'm trying to think of the analogy. It's kind of like a Band-Aid. You can't, your friends your friends are sort of like a psychologist for you, but not quite. They're just a Band-Aid. They're not going to be able to do surgery in this analogy like a psychologist would on you on that subject. But I feel like I see so many people, if they were just to have more friends and be able to talk it out. So when you say let it go, it's odd where I think if they could talk and let it go, but they have to talk first to be able to let it go.
Yeah.
I feel like when most of the people that I encounter now, I don't see any of the heavy cases, so I don't know if this would work for the heavy cases. Yeah. If you just get a circle of friends and find a good, and that's hard to find sometimes, a good circle of friends that you could count on, that you could talk to, that you could trust in and tell them your deepest secrets. And hopefully they could do the same vice versa to you and help each other out. When I say find friends, is that in your profession, do you find that good, bad, accurate?
No, I think there's definitely some truth to that. It's about, I mean, that's a resource, right? You're fortifying yourself with a resource. And, you know, the concept of letting it go, you're exactly right. You need to acknowledge and verbalize it in order to let it go. When we pretend that things don't happen and we don't give it a voice and a name, that's when it stays in. You know, we call that like you're packing it down in there. And it's still there until you're willing to acknowledge it, say the words out loud. And saying that to another human being makes it real, you know? Like, do you want examples?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I had, I get the greatest examples of fun things. So I had, you know, one of my guys in a group, and this is a group of men, manly men, and he had never talked about his trauma. We all knew that he had trauma. But he had never really talked about it, and he was always just kind of joking around. And, you know, he was really into doing this whole therapy thing. He wanted to get it right. He didn't want to keep going back to, you know, the drugs and the alcohol and all this stuff. But he never really got to the bottom of what was going on. And, you know, he'd been with us for a while and must have just been feeling comfortable. And he actually said the words aloud in group one day, "I was raped as a child by my Boy Scout leader." And before he said it, he was starting to stutter and he was having a hard time. But once he was able to say the words, it was like you could just see him relax and release. Like it took everything in him to say that out loud in front of people, especially for a man to talk about a sexual assault. Like it's a point of, you know, it's like, oh, you're weak. You allowed this to happen. You should have, you know, done this. You're not a man. And for him to just kind of like say it and it be heard and accepted by other people was just like a weight came off of him, you know, and he wasn't like instantly cured, but it was definitely a big part of the healing process for him, was to be able to acknowledge what he went through and this horrible thing that happened to him and how he felt about it and the resentment and the anger and, you know, what ultimately happened with it. And, you know, that's part of the journey of why he's where he is. But yeah, you have to be able to let things out. You have to be able to discuss things. Like humans by nature are social creatures. We're pack animals, you know, we are. Yeah. We're not cats. We don't isolate. And it is really important to have a support network. You know, some people have great families that, you know, their family members are their best friends. And those are the people that they can talk to about everything. Those people are very fortunate because they were just born into that. I think that's less common, you know. Yep. And some people are able to find a really good group of friends that they can talk to and that give them support. And, you know, that person that just knows that you're having a little bit of an off day before you say anything and can, you know, call you out on it, help you out with it, and you can be honest with them. And some people just don't have that. But I think that is definitely something that people need, you know, just part of life. Yeah. You know? Yeah.